Chairman Durbin.
Thanks. It's an honor to be here, and thank your committee for its good work on a very important topic. The Inform Act was the result of a conversation I had 10 years ago with Home Depot, who said they're selling our own home drills, the drills that we make just for our customers, on the internet in volume. They are either stolen or counterfeit. They've got to be one of the two. We only make them in China and sell them in the United States. Well, you'd think if they were stolen or counterfeit, the vendor would like to know that too. They didn't want to hear anything about it, and they refused to identify the source of that drill being sold on the internet. It took us 10 years to create a law, which we finally passed in December, which moves us in the right direction. Bill Cassidy was my co-sponsor on it. But it's an indication of what we have faced in the past and what American businesses have faced in the past. 4 minutes left, not enough time to ask, let alone ask and answer the questions I have here, but I'll throw a few of them out there. First one, are any other countries of the world engaging in economic espionage? Maybe you can think about that for a second. Please identify them if you know them. Second, what is the impact of artificial intelligence on intellectual property? What is going to happen as we venture into this brave new world of AI and the information gathering that it's capable of? Third, did anybody read Tom Friedman's article in the New York Times over the weekend on China? Please do. He went to the largest chip manufacturer in the world and the most respected in Taiwan and said, why are you different? Why across the Taiwan Straits aren't the Chinese producing similar products? And the owner of the company said one word: trust. Businesses come to us and believe they can trust us to follow through with their assignment, whatever it happens to be, without compromising the integrity of their own property rights to that information. Trust. And they don't have it in China. Which brings me to the final question. As I step back and try to reflect on the fact that we are just 50 years, a little over 50 years beyond ping-pong diplomacy, I'm trying to figure out what the hell happened in Red China. Red China, we used to call it. Now we call it the Chinese Communist Party. What happened there? This wasn't supposed to happen. Not a market economy, not a democratic nation, and yet they are competing with us. Did they mandate innovation? Did they steal innovation? Is there something else going on there? What is happening in China now that makes them so competitive with the United States when they apparently have so many obstacles to overcome in an authoritarian government, non-market economy, and dealing with a democracy like our own and a capitalist economy? Just a few questions, and anybody who can be interested can tackle them.
Thank you. And Mr. Chairman, you'll be pleased to know we're going to have an entire hearing on the impact of artificial intelligence on patents and innovation. But please take your time and answer Chairman Durbin's question.
So Chairman, maybe I'll take the first one and the last one real quick. On the first one, I think it's pretty clear that the lion's share of economic espionage, as defined as a state actor pursuing it, is being conducted by the PRC. There are probably other examples, but in many ways those are quite minimal. And then sort of what happened. I think fundamentally our strategy of using economic engagement to drive political liberalization absolutely scared the Chinese Communist Party. And so for them to adopt the kinds of things that we would expect to be a responsible stakeholder in a liberal, rules-based international system would undermine their rule. And so they have chosen to compete in a very different way. And that's the path, unfortunately, that we're down. I think we are on a pathway to a much more turbulent relationship with the PRC than even if we see now.
If I may, Leader Durbin, thank you again for Inform. Extremely important. Its application both to organized retail crime and the threat of counterfeits is really going to have an impact. We're looking forward to monitoring how it's being implemented by the June deadline and working with companies to share best practices in that space. In terms of, I'd like to speak to your question about AI. I think, initially we're going to see a real threat to our system in terms of rampant infringement. And ultimately, I would go on a limb to predict that we're going to see AI potentially become a savior of our system because it's going to give us the technological tools to tackle some of the challenges that Ms. Harrison outlined that are extremely important in terms of being able to manage IP rights at the speed and scale that's necessary to reflect the technologies that we have today.